Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So I'm gonna be talking about something that's pretty personal, and it took a lot of courage for me to even film this. It took a lot of tries as well for me to like not cry or anything and kind of just get all my words out. So I'm a little nervous, so I might be kind of like fidgeting like I am right now, or I'll stutter a little bit. But yeah, so I'm gonna be talking about how I'm dealing and kind of dealt with postpartum depression and anxiety. So for those who don't know, postpartum depression and anxiety comes after you give birth. The dictionary, I looked it up, it defines it as depression suffered by a mother following childbirth, typically arising from the combination of hormonal changes, psychological adjustment to motherhood, and fatigue. Let me first off by say it has nothing to do with me not loving my son. I love him, I adore him, I'm obsessed with him. He's my whole world. Everything about him makes me so happy. It's just like, I don't know how to like quite put it into words exactly what it is. It's definitely not him at all. He's so amazing. But yeah, so let me just start off when maybe I'll give a little backstory. So when I was pregnant, it was not planned. It was just out of the blue. It surprised me and my family and of course my boyfriend. But anyways, I was maybe 5 or 6 weeks pregnant, and I went to the emergency room because I started bleeding. And the x-ray technician there, she actually told me, oh, it looks like you might be having a miscarriage, and there's nothing that we can do about it on our end. You just have to go home and let it happen. So I was told to go on bed rest. And then my next doctor's appointment, I went and I was like hoping and praying like I wasn't having a miscarriage or anything. And they did an ultrasound, and you could see my little baby's heart was beating so strong. So it was just, I guess I was stressed out so much that I was causing myself to bleed. Then later on in my pregnancy, I started having a little trouble with the placenta, so I had to go on bed rest again. But it was just like even more stressful, and I was trying not to stress myself out, yada yada yada. But anyways, on 4th of July, I gave birth to a healthy baby boy. He was 7 pounds and 7 pounds and 8.9 ounces. 8.9, I don't even know if that's right, but it was, no, I know it was 8 ounces, but I meant like 8.9 ounces is like a correct measurement. But anyways, yeah, so the birth was crazy. I was literally in Target when I was in labor. I was like, oh, maybe it's just Braxton Hicks. I was texting my cousin Rayleigh, who actually is a mom. I was texting her. I was like, I don't know if I'm in labor or not, or if I should go to the doctor. And she was with my mom at the time, so she was telling my mom, and my mom was like, her and my mom were just telling me, just go to the doctor, just go to the doctor. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna go after I finish shopping at Target. And then my contractions started hurting more, so I was like, oh my gosh, I think this is the real thing. So I told my boyfriend, I was like, let's go, let's just pack up and go. And then we drove to Torrance Memorial, and so we drove to Torrance Memorial at like 9, and when we got there, they checked my cervix, and I was 3 centimeters dilated. And then they were like, we weren't, oh sorry, I keep fidgeting, but they were not sure if they were gonna keep me or not. And then so I let my boyfriend go to work because I was like thinking maybe it was just a false alarm. And right when he left for work, maybe he just was already driving to work, and they were like, oh, you're at 6 centimeters, so you are staying. So within like 40 minutes, 40 minutes, I was 6 centimeters already. So I called him back and I was like, you have to come back. And then by the time he came back, I was already 10 centimeters. So it was a fast labor. My water didn't break yet. So the nurse, she came in just to like feel around or whatever. That's how I described it. She accidentally broke my water, and it was just such a funny experience. But yeah, I could talk about that in another video. But anyways, after I gave birth, it was such an amazing experience. I had a C-section. I was actually rushed into a C-section. And it was just so funny because throughout my whole labor, I was so calm. I was breathing. I was kind of upset because my boyfriend, his mom, and my mom, they were all sleeping and I could not sleep, so I was just awake watching some stupid news channel that was on the hospital TV. But yeah. Anyways, what was funny was I was just so calm, and then the nurse told me I had to go have an emergency C-section because when I was pushing, my baby's heart rate was dropping because the umbilical cord was wrapped around his neck and his whole body. So it was wrapped around his neck 3 times, and then it was wrapped around his whole body as well. So every time I would push, it would squeeze him and his heart rate would drop. So then they were like, we have to have a C-section. But what made me so mad was the first doctor had me, I was still in labor for how long? I was ready to come out, like the baby was ready to come out, but he just insisted, no, we just wait. He was insisting that we wait and see if the umbilical cord just doesn't go around, like, how do I say it, unravels itself around Amir. And then a new doctor came in because they switched shifts every 7 p.m. and 7 a.m. they switched shifts. So at 7 a.m. a new doctor came in. All she did was stick her hand up in there. She was like, oh yeah, you need a C-section. Literally so fast. So at 7:46 I had a C-section, but I was crying because I was telling my mom, what if I don't wake up? What if I never get to meet this baby? And they were like, you don't go to sleep. So I was like, oh, okay, let's go get this thing cracking. Ew, that was so ugly of me to say. Let's just get this over with. That's what I should have said. But anyways, so yeah. So that happened. I got sick when I was in labor, so my baby had to go into the NICU. And while he was in the NICU, actually a therapist came up to my room and was talking about classes that I could take, or like appointments I can make if I ever do develop postpartum depression. And I was like, oh no, I won't get that. Like, I'm gonna be so happy, like, yeah, I get to be a mom, blah blah blah. And yeah, so I was just like, oh no, I don't need it. And she just gave me the paper just in case. So I was like, okay. So maybe around when Amir turned, I want to say 2 months, I started, you know, just not feeling like myself. I just wanted to lay in bed and of course, be with Amir, but it took a lot for me to want to get up just to take a shower. Like, it sounds so nasty, but I would be in bed and I'm like, oh, I have to take a shower. And I would get in the shower and I would just be like this on the wall, just like out of it. I didn't want to get ready. Some days I still don't want to get ready. I don't feel like pretty, not to sound like conceited or anything, but I just didn't feel like myself. Like, I didn't feel like Katie. I just felt like I was a robot or something like that. Like, it was just something that I couldn't even explain to anybody of what I was feeling or why I was feeling like that. And it was just really hard. I couldn't really talk to like anyone about it. Well, of course I talked to my boyfriend about it constantly, but I didn't really talk to anybody else about it because well, I'm Black and Filipino, so my Filipino side, we don't really talk about like depression or anxiety. Like, none of my family members talk about it or ever express it. At least I never heard them, and we never really have family discussions about that. And as well as my father's family, we don't talk about it as well. It's just something that, you know, I talked to one of my aunts about it, like I told them, and they just, she was like, she thought I was joking, like she laughed at me. She was like, you are not, blah, blah, blah. So I was just like, okay, whatever. So it's just kind of hard to deal with and kind of hard to talk about with my family members. They would think, like, my mom especially, she'll think I'm just being lazy or anything, but it really just takes a lot out of me to want to do stuff or want to do anything. Like, my family members would have so many like get-togethers, and I just didn't have it in me to want to go. I just didn't feel like being around people asking, like, oy, asking how I'm doing, and I like don't want to lie. It's just a lot to deal with, and I didn't understand it at first. I thought maybe I'm just in a funk, maybe my period is coming. That's how I just took it, until I went to my 6 week. After you give birth, you go to your doctor, and this is the questionnaire they gave me. When I was waiting for the doctor, I had to fill this out. So it's just like questions like, it's not really questions, it's like statements, and the answers that you have is as much as I always could, not quite so much now, definitely not so much now, and not at all. And the statements were like, I have been able to laugh or see the funny sides of things. I have looked forward to enjoyment to things. I have blamed myself unnecessarily when things went wrong. That one is such a big one for me, and it kind of still is for me. I have been anxious or worried for no reason. That one is a really big one for me too. I wouldn't, when Amir first came home from the hospital, I really wouldn't go to sleep because I didn't want nobody else to watch him because I was so scared that something was gonna happen. So I wouldn't really sleep. I would sleep when he's sleeping, and when he woke up, I was up too. What else? And then in the beginning too, I would feel bad if somebody else was watching him. So my boyfriend would always be like, oh, we can take him to my mom's house, and I was kind of like, no, I'll stay with him, just because, like, I don't know, I just felt bad. I didn't want people to think like, oh, I'm just giving him away, like, because I'm young, I could go out. But no, I worry about him all the time. To this day, I still worry about him. Of course, that's gonna be for the rest of my life. But anyways, back to the questions. It was, I have felt scared and panicky for no good reason. Things have been getting on top of me. I've been so unhappy that I have difficulty sleeping. I have felt sad and miserable. I've been unhappy that I have been crying. And just like other questions as well. And it was just like, I didn't really think of it. None of that ever occurred to me until I saw that on that paper where I had to fill it out. And so the doctor prescribed some stuff, and I was just like, I was kind of like, no, I don't want to really do that or anything. And he just gave it to me as just in case. for me to start dealing with it better, I started working out. I don't do like I couldn't do full-on workouts yet because I had a C-section. So I was walking to deal with it more. I started writing in my notes in my phone. I started reading more up on about it. I watch so many other moms express how they dealt with it. I also talked more about it. Like, I talked more about it with my cousin. She I always make fun of her because she's so corny, but she's like was so interested in like knowing about it, so I kind of talked to her more about it. And yeah, I started just, I don't know how to really explain it because I still go through it time to time. Like, it hits you at the most randomest times. Like, I could be out and about, and then out of nowhere I'm just like, can we go home? Or I'm just out of it. I can't even explain it. Like, yeah. So day to day I start finding little things that can help me. Working out is one big one. I'm actually super excited to start working out more because, like, I'm super fat after my baby, shoot, even before my baby. But yeah, another thing that helped me is actually starting a YouTube channel because I'm like so excited to like find things to film, and like, I don't know, I love watching other YouTubers, and yeah, just seeing positive people just live their life. It just makes me like, okay, I can do this, I can do this. I mean, it doesn't happen overnight because I'm obviously still dealing with it, but as each day goes by I find new ways to be positive, and I just find like little things to make me feel a little more like myself as each day goes by. So yeah, it's super hard sometimes, and sometimes I feel like I don't have no one to talk to because I feel like they think like, oh, you're so annoying with this, like, get over it, it's been how long? But then there's days where I'm like, I really do have a good support system, so it's super hard to not have anyone to talk to. So it just depends on the day, but I really am working on it. And yeah, like I said, this was such a super hard video for me to record, but thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys have any questions, or if you're dealing with postpartum depression too and you live in Los Angeles, we can do things together, mom things, or without the kids. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope to see you guys back on the next video. Bye.